What is going on, everybody? It is Friday, January the 29th. Can you believe it? January is almost over. The first month of 2021 is almost in the bag. And of course, since it is Friday, that means it is time for a News Radar episode. So there's really only two things worth talking about today, and that is the GameStop stock situation and the new update for the Surface Duo. So what I'm going to do here first is let's talk about the stock situation, the insane situation going on right now with GameStop, Robinhood, Reddit, and so forth. I've been following this kind of, from afar. I haven't made any comments about it in a while, but we are at a point now where I think some things just need to be pointed out. So if you don't know what is going on, basically, the subreddit called Wall Street Bets did something absolutely hilarious and awesome and incredible. There are a group of people. This is not the Wall Street's Bets people. There are a group of people who like to make a lot of money by essentially gambling on the stock market. I'm going to give a really kind of general overview of what's going on here, just in case you don't know what's happening, okay? And I may make some mistakes here. I'm not a stock expert. But here's what they like to do. Let's take GameStop, for instance. They look at the GameStop share. Let's say it was $10. It was less than $10, but $10 is a nice round number, easy to work into your mind. Let's say it's $10, and these guys think GameStop is going to only go down from here, right? So they get a hold of some shares of GameStop, but they don't buy them, they lend them, they borrow them, right? Then they sell those stocks that they've borrowed for $10 a piece, okay? Then they wait for what they anticipate the stock to drop in price. Now it drops down to $5 or $2 or $1. They buy them back and return them to their lender, pocketing a large amount of money potentially in doing so. This is risky. This is a risky thing, because what happens if you borrow the stocks, you sell them for $10 and then they go up to $20 and you got to give them back. Well, then you got to buy them for $20 and give them back. Now you've lost money. What would happen if a whole bunch of people were trying to short a stock, which is what that's called, like GameStop, and I don't know, like a couple million people maybe on Reddit decide, we're going to screw you over. Guess what we're going to do? We are all going to buy GameStop shares. All of us. What would happen? Well, what would happen would be the shares of GameStop would go up in an incredible, unprecedented, never before seen kind of way. And that's exactly what happened. If we go over here to GameStop, $19, $20, and it was actually even lower than that. It was as low as $10, okay? January 14th, it jumped up to $40. Okay, the short sellers were already probably panicking. Well, guess what? The worst was still ahead, because they kept going and going and going. It reached $347 there. Did it go higher? $467.50. What does that mean? What does that mean? All right. What that means is 110.44 million is the volume. Think about all the people that were trying to short this, and they got the stocks and they sold them for $10 or something stupid like that. Well, then now they have to get them back. They got to get the stocks back, y'all. And they were $468 now. At scale, this is going to cost some people billions of dollars. This could put whole lender companies out of business. This could destroy some places. Okay. What else? So Reddit decides, why stop here? There's some other stocks that are being shorted, and we're going to come for your asses too. So they went to Nokia, BlackBerry, AMC, and they started doing the same thing. Here's where things get insane. You can look over here right now and you can see, you probably can't see because it's cutting it off there, but what this says is this stock is not supported. Let's go full screen here. Not supported on Robinhood, right? And that's stupid because it was supported like, a day ago. So what's happened is now Robinhood, which is a huge app, has now stopped allowing you to buy GameStop shares, Nokia shares, BlackBerry, AMC, all of the stocks that people were doing this to. They've blocked you from being able to buy those stocks. All you can do is sell them. This is market manipulation. So we're going to jump over to Twitter. We're going to look at some takes here from Twitter. AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, whether you like her or not. This is unacceptable. We now need to know more about Robinhood's decision to block retail investors from purchasing stock while hedge funds are freely able to trade the stock as they see fit. Hedge funds can still buy and sell them, but you can't. You can't do anything with them but sell them. They want you to dump this stock so the price will come down so that these people can do what they need to do and get some of this money back. Terrible. Terrible. Robinhood is no longer allowing users to do anything but close out their GME or AMC positions. Hard to put into words how outrageous that is. This is much more acutely the definition of manipulating the market. So the claim was that, well, you guys at Reddit are just manipulating the market. No, they're not, because there's nothing illegal about, I guess maybe they are manipulating the market, but not in an illegal way. They're just buying the stock. How is that different from what Jim Cramer on the television does? Buy the stock. It's the same thing. It's just on a much larger scale. There's nothing illegal about what they're doing. However, preventing people from being able to buy a stock, I feel like should be illegal if it's not. I don't really understand how it's not illegal. Robinhood likely planned beforehand to block people from buying the stocks they wanted this morning. If so, instead of informing users of their plan, they let their app climb to #1 in the App Store this morning, sign up 100,000 users, and hours later, block these stocks, etc., etc. This is some shady shit. And guess what, Robinhood? You might be fucked. You might be totally fucked, because there will be lawsuits filed against you. There's already one being filed in New York. This is... If you're not paying attention to this, this is a literal revolt against the 1% by people on Reddit. This isn't even about GameStop anymore. It's not even about the money. And some people stood to make tens of millions of dollars from this because they bought these stocks early, and as more and more people bought them, the price went up. And suddenly now they have $13 million. Well, now GME is going the other way. Now it's down to 205. So now there's people, it was down to 125 earlier today. There are people who now, have made $13 million and are now in the hole by $7 million and crazy crap like that. This is a revolt. This is people putting their money on the line to tell the 1%ers to fuck off. And I'm here for it. I'm not going to divulge what I own, but I'm here for it. 2008 financial collapse, you should have considered the risks. Student loan debt, you should have considered the risks. Credit card debt, you should have considered the risks. Hedge fund makes a risky bet and might go under. It's not their fault. Shut the whole thing down. It is the double standard that is sickening. It's gross. It's horrifying. And one more thing here. Let's go over to apps on the Play Store. Let's look for, can we do top charts? We can. Hey, look at that. There's Robinhood, #1. Hey, look at that rating though they have now. Look at that. 1 star. They've received well over now 100,000. Actually, it might be closer to 200,000 reviews now, and almost all of them are 1 star. And there might be me contributing to that as well. 305,000 total reviews, and they are now a solid 1 star rating. They are getting destroyed. Think what you want. You can all have your opinions about it, but this is really important stuff. This is stuff that will be talked about for a long time. This stuff that may literally change the world. All right, so now let's talk about the other big thing, the update to the Surface Duo. So we finally got the update that should have happened in December. Apparently there were some bugs in it. Apparently something was broken, so they pushed it back to January. And we finally have that update. So let's look at the changelog here first. It says it addresses scenarios outlined in the security bulletin. Great, it's a security update. Improves Surface Duo UI stability. Adds the ability to add a caller to conference calls in certain conditions. Improves audio quality when using speaker mode. I'm assuming that they mean the speaker phone, but we'll dig into that. And improves touch stability. All right. So that doesn't look like a lot. That looks like a pretty minor update. However, the update itself was over 500 megabytes. So it's actually bigger than the launch day September update. So I immediately was like, this is crazy. How is it? That's such a light, not exciting. It's basically like it's getting better is the changelog. Well, we've had it now for a couple days and I've spent some time with it. And some of the things I've noticed immediately was just everything just kind of feels smoother. And I know that that's not like super easy to quantify, but I guess what I'll say is that just everything, the animations moving around just feel much smoother than they did before. Gesture navigation actually feels quite a bit more consistent. In fact, over the last, couple of days, I feel like it's been pretty much flawless, which this has not been the case at all. But now it's just working. This is how it should have launched, honestly. But I would say it's on par with other standard phones. It's working great now. That was one of my biggest problems, was that you had to be so damn deliberate to go home. If you were off to the side just slightly, what I'm doing right now would not have worked at launch. It might not have worked before this last update. You had to be so deliberate. It wasn't broken, but you had to just be very, very deliberate. That is much easier to accomplish now. I can't tell you how often I would try to go home and I would accidentally throw an app to the other screen. To do that now, you have to be really, swiping up at a pretty oblique angle where, before it was really easy to do that. So huge improvement there for me so far. What about the shutter lag on the camera? I saw some people talking about that. I've been using the Gcam Go app pretty much the whole time because the shutter lag on the standard app was so bad. Well, I have gone back to using the standard camera. And the reason I have done so is because the shutter lag is pretty much gone now. I still think that Gcam Go is slightly faster, but now the stock app is actually right there on par for me. I've tested it in different lightings and it has stayed really consistent. And you do get slightly better photo quality, I think, from the stock app than the Gcam Go app. So that's a really big improvement there as well. You may have noticed that I have my bumpers on my Duo. Again, off again, on again, off again, on again. Well, they're on again because I wanted to test something. I talked about in some videos about how when I had the bumper on, the thing didn't want to rotate correctly. When you tried to unlock it in phone mode, you would have both screens on. All these weird things were happening to me. As soon as I took the bumpers off, all that went away. Well, new update, I noticed how smooth and quick and how much the rotation seems to be quicker, snappier. So I thought, well, I guess I got to put my bumpers back on and see what happens. And I've got something really good to report to you guys. If I unlock my phone, guess what? There's only one screen functioning as it should be. Now that's going to happen because I rotated it. But I have been unable to replicate the scenario where I have both screens fully on. Now, I'm not talking about the double tap to switch screens, which, by the way, is actually working really well too now. I am talking about literally having both screens on at the same time. Not both screens. Before, and I did this on video, I could sit here and unlock my phone repeatedly and have both screens on over and over. I had rebooted. I had done everything you could imagine. I had factory reset the phone. It was not going to get better for me. After this update, guess what? It's fixed. For me, it is fixed. Let's talk about, rotation. For me, it is pretty quick now. This before, it would sit there and think about it and think about it and think about it, and it's going pretty quickly now. That's a good thing. So we're moving in the right direction for sure. One more thing, though, that I have to mention. And look, if there's something that you've experienced that I'm not talking about here, like you're like, oh, well, Shane forgot to mention this. Maybe I just haven't seen it. It's only been a couple of days. Please put in the comments what your experience has been. I would love to know where you guys are at, how you guys are feeling about this update. But there's one thing that's happening that's bad, that I really don't like, and they need to fix. When you are in book mode, dual screen mode, whatever, and you go home, everything is totally fine. That was not the phone messing up. That was a callus on this finger. This finger does not really work with touchscreens very well because it's calloused from playing the old guitar. However, when you are in phone mode, guess what happens? You got to pay attention to this. Whenever you're in an app and you try to go home, I'm going to try and show you this as close as I can. Notice how the launcher will have no icons briefly, and then they load in every time. every single time you try to go home in phone mode, they take an extra second to load in. Here's what's weird. If you go back, that's not a problem. I probably just covered the screen. Let's do it again. If I go back, not a problem. If I'm in book mode, not a problem. Only in phone mode, only going home. I don't know what that is. I don't know why it's doing that. It's annoying. It didn't do it before the update. It's only doing it now. I'm hopeful that Microsoft Launcher can get updated and that can be fixed through that without them having to push another update. Because if it's going to come to a system update, it's probably going to be February before that gets fixed. And it's a little bit annoying because I do use book or phone mode rather quite regularly. Overall, I think this update is really good. I think it's a step in the right direction. And a lot of us want more features. There's a ton of features that I want to do to have, that I need it to have really, that aren't coming. But it seems like Microsoft is getting the groundwork put together first. It seems like this is a long-term investment for them. And, you know, fair enough, I guess, as long as it gets there eventually. But this is this maybe this is the most significant update since the initial September update. It might even be more significant than that in terms of smoothing things out. I am much closer today than I was a week ago to being able to tell people, yeah, you can buy the Surface Duo and you're not going to have any trouble with it. It's going to perform fine for you. The sacrifices in terms of glitchiness, weirdness, not that bad. Big update in terms of what it's actually accomplished. Hopefully February gives us some features. Hopefully Android 11 is coming soon. I'm not hearing a lot, but my ear is definitely to the ground when it comes to Android 11. I'd love to know what you guys think about this update. Please sound off in the comments down below. So guys, that's all I have for you today on this News Radar. Be sure to check back every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for the next News Radar. And until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.